She's destroying her face with plastic surgery. Thank you very much. There's been a lot of attention on my diet and exercise recently, but over the summer I really made a very conscious decision to her marriage is officially dead. Like with any marriage, there's issues that you have and they come up, and then something like I said in my interview I've been where I did lose my trust. And her daughters are watching their mother's midlife crisis play out on national television. I care about my family first, and I tried. I really did try, and so then when I couldn't. Kyle Richards' perfect image just shattered. And what I'm about to reveal is absolutely devastating. You know Kyle Richards as the OG Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, the woman who seemed to have it all figured out. Perfect marriage, for gorgeous daughters, the house everyone envied, but that was all a lie. Behind the camera's a woman so desperate to stay young, she's altered her entire face. A marriage that's been dead for years while she pretended everything was fine, and a sexuality crisis she's exploiting for storylines while refusing to be honest. This is the real story of Kyle Richards' downfall, and it's worse than you could imagine. Let's start with something Kyle doesn't want you focusing on: her face. Because while everyone's been distracted by the Morgan Wade drama and the Mauricio separation, Kyle has been quietly transforming her appearance to the point where she's becoming unrecognizable. In January 2024, Kyle posted bikini photos showing off her dramatic weight loss. Fans immediately accused her of using Ozempic. She vehemently denied it, claiming she works out 2 hours every day and hasn't touched sugar, pizza, donuts, or carbs in months. I stopped drinking almost 7 months ago. I don't eat bad, she insisted on the 2Ts in a podcast. What I don't want to get lost in this is that I want to be able to inspire people. But here's what she didn't deny: the extensive plastic surgery she's had over the years. Kyle has admitted to 2 nose jobs. The first in 2006 because her nose bothered her for a long time. The second in October 2020 after she broke her nose on the set of Halloween Kills and didn't want the stunt double to step in. She's confirmed liposuction. After having 4 kids, no matter what exercise I did, the love handles wouldn't go away, she told Us Weekly. In June 2022, Andy Cohen accidentally revealed on Watch What Happens Live that Kyle had a breast reduction just 3 weeks prior. She confirmed it. I had DDs, no implants. I went in and I said, I want smaller boobs and I don't ever want to wear a bra ever again in my life. She's admitted to Botox, fillers, lasers, PRP facials, the list goes on. But in April 2022, fans noticed something dramatic. Kyle posted a vacation photo from Hawaii with noticeably puckered, swollen lips. The comments exploded. Please, no more lip injections, someone wrote. What happened to your lips? Another asked with a shocked emoji. You look great. Why did you do that to your lips? Now you just look like the rest of them. Kyle's response: she promoted a lip plumper product the next day, claiming that's what gave her fuller lips, not injections. A topical product. Nobody bought it. Then in December 2023, fans started commenting that Kyle looked younger than her daughter and like she's aging in reverse. They asked if she'd had a lower facelift. Kyle denied it in Instagram comments, but speculation continued to rage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Kyle is 55 years old and terrified of aging. She's in the middle of a divorce, questioning her sexuality and desperately trying to reclaim her youth through cosmetic procedures. And it's starting to show, not in a good way, but Kyle's not the only one changing her face. Her oldest daughter, Farrah Al-Jafri, has been accused of undergoing extensive plastic surgery. In April 2024, a TikTok video went viral featuring throwback photos of Kyle and 35-year-old Farrah from the early 2000s compared to recent images. The transformation was shocking. Kyle looks similar, but Farrah is totally unrecognizable, one Bravo fan wrote in the comments. Fans accused Farrah of getting a nose job, Botox, a brow lift, cheek fillers, lip fillers, and more. The before and after comparison showed a completely different person. Think about what that means. Kyle has normalized plastic surgery so much in her household that her daughter has completely altered her natural appearance by age 35. Farrah works for Mauricio's real estate company, The Agency, and appears on the Netflix show Beverly Hills. Her face is her brand, and she's clearly learned from her mother that youth and beauty are commodities to be maintained at any cost. Kyle recently gushed about Farrah's engagement to Alex Manos, which happened back in November 2021. She told Today, "I've been dreaming of this day forever. I can't wait to take her to go register for her dishes and her glasses or stemware." But Farrah still hasn't gotten married. It's been nearly 4 years since the engagement, and sources say the wedding keeps getting postponed for unclear reasons. Could it be because Farrah is watching her mother's marriage implode on television and having second thoughts about her own future? Speaking of weddings, let's talk about Alexia Umansky's big day, because it revealed just how broken Kyle and Mauricio's relationship really is. September 6, 2025, Alexia married Jake Zingerman in a lavish ceremony in Los Angeles. Over 250 guests attended, including current and former Real Housewives cast members. In the lead-up to the wedding, Kyle got emotional about her daughter growing up. During a February 2025 Amazon Live, she admitted, "I didn't think I was going to be this person, but the first dress she came out in, I started crying." Such a cliché. Oh my gosh, so embarrassing. She compared it to the scene in Father of the Bride where the dad realizes his little girl is all grown up. I was looking at her and thinking, but she's just a baby, and it just makes you realize how fast time flies. But here's where it gets messy. Kyle and Mauricio had to navigate this wedding as a separated couple. They've been apart since July 2023, over 2 years now, and still haven't filed for divorce. At the wedding, Mauricio walked into Alexia's room before her first look with Jake. He saw her in her wedding dress and started crying. Kyle was there watching, also crying as her estranged husband had an emotional moment with their daughter. Later, Alexia posted on Instagram that the night before her wedding, the family had a huge sleepover at the Encino house. They're playing house, pretending everything's fine for the kids. But nobody's fooled. During the ceremony, Kyle and Mauricio sat side by side. Photos show them looking uncomfortable, forcing smiles, putting on a performance for 250 guests and the cameras. Kyle later told her Amazon Live audience, "I'm really proud of how we are navigating through this separation. It's been really helpful to my daughters, too, to get through this." But is it really helpful? Because Alexia told People magazine after the wedding that she's planning to wait about a year before really trying to have kids with Jake. Why the hesitation? Could it be because she's watched her parents' marriage collapse and she's terrified of making the same mistakes? When asked about marriage advice, Kyle said, "You know what? She's grown up with her mom and dad seeing our marriage." Exactly. She's seen it. The fighting, the separation, the public humiliation, the refusal to actually divorce, and now she's hesitant to start her own family. That's not a success story. That's trauma. Let's talk about how differently Kyle and Mauricio are handling this separation, because the contrast is brutal. In November 2025, Mauricio confirmed to People magazine, "I'm alone. I'm single. I'm dating." He's been photographed kissing women in airports, making out in Aspen, living his absolute best life at 54 years old. He moved out of their shared Encino home in May 2024. Kyle admitted that was weird. "I always knew when that day came it would feel strange, very real." But here's the thing, Mauricio isn't sitting around pining for his marriage. He's moved on. At BravoCon 2025, Kyle admitted that even though both are allowed to do whatever they want, they avoid discussing it. "We live separate lives. We don't really want to know, and I can just look at TMZ and find out anyway." That's not a healthy co-parenting relationship. Meanwhile, Kyle is stuck. She won't file for divorce because they're entangled in shared assets. She won't fully commit to Morgan Wade. She won't be honest about her sexuality. She's paralyzed. And Mauricio? He's out there dating, working, building his business, and moving forward. The man who was once accused of cheating, of causing the marriage to fall apart, is now the one who looks put together and emotionally healthy. Kyle looks desperate, and the world can see it. Now let's talk about the absolute darkest part of Kyle's story that nobody wants to address, her treatment of her sister Kim. September 2024, Kim Richards was placed on a psychiatric hold after law enforcement showed up at a Hilton hotel in Los Angeles where she was reportedly incoherent. A 51-50 hold, that means someone is deemed a danger to themselves or others. Kyle was there with Kathy. They were asked to leave after cops were called. Just days later, on September 25th, law enforcement showed up at a Los Angeles home owned by Kyle Richards after a neighbor called to have Kim removed from the property. Kyle told police that Kim is in deep trouble over her sobriety and the family is worried about her survival. She said the Richards family had shut Kim out amid her sobriety relapse and hoped this act of tough love would be the wake-up call she needed. Let me be clear, Kyle called the cops on her own sister twice in 1 month. An insider told People that the family had reached a breaking point, that Kim's reliance on alcohol has been between her and her sisters. The insider revealed that Kim's family has supported her financially for much of her adult life, but now they're wondering whether they've been helping or enabling her. But here's the part that makes my blood boil. Kyle has made a career out of exploiting Kim's addiction on television. Season 1, Episode 1 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the limo fight where Kyle screams, "You're an alcoholic," at Kim in front of cameras. That moment launched the entire franchise. For 14 years, Kyle has allowed Kim's struggles to be filmed. The breakdowns, the rehab stints, the relapses, all for ratings, all for Kyle's paycheck. In October 2024, Kyle told Page 6, "Of course, you never want to show the most difficult parts of your life, but I don't have that luxury. It's unfortunate for me, but for the audience, they get to see that. Unfortunate for me. Not unfortunate for Kim, whose disease is being broadcast to millions. Unfortunately for Kyle, who has to film it. The narcissism is staggering." In January 2025, Kim made a rare public appearance at the Hollywood Show fan convention. Podcaster David Yontef spoke with her and later revealed on his podcast that Kim shared she hadn't spoken to Kyle or Kathy in a long time. Kim is now living in Florida with one of her best friends, away from her family, not speaking to her sisters, trying to get sober in peace. And at the RHOBH Season 14 reunion in April 2025, when Andy Cohen brought up Kim's struggles, both Kyle and Kathy said, "She's spending time in Florida. I think she's doing better." They're not talking to Kim. They're talking about her on television for money, and Kyle wonders why people question her character. Let's circle back to Morgan Wade, because this relationship, whatever it is, has become the central mystery of Kyle's life. In April 2022, Kyle heard Morgan's song Wilder Days on the radio and became obsessed. She slid into Morgan's DMs. Within months, they were inseparable. They got matching heart tattoos. They traveled together constantly. They posted cryptic photos that sent fans into speculation overdrive. Then came the music video. In October 2023, Kyle appeared in Morgan's Fall in Love with Me video. They played love interests. They kissed on camera. The chemistry was undeniable. Kyle and Morgan later explained they wanted to troll the trolls by playing into the speculation, but nobody believed them. According to reports from September 2024, Kyle was ready to come out to the world until she saw text messages on Morgan's phone from another woman. A source claimed Kyle flipped out as soon as she saw it. Kyle was devastated and chose to keep this a secret from the cast going into filming. Think about that. Kyle was allegedly ready to come out, to publicly define their relationship, and then Morgan betrayed her trust. Throughout 2024 and 2025, Kyle has refused to label what Morgan is to her. During a May 2024 appearance on the Bible podcast, Kyle responded to rumors they weren't speaking. There is obviously a lot of curiosity about that, always, and I can't talk about it ad nauseum, but anything I say or do, people analyze with a magnifying glass. At BravoCon in November 2025, Kyle joked with castmate Bizoma St. John about dating preferences. When asked what she's looking for, Kyle quipped, "Someone who likes sex." And when pressed further, she joked, "I could go Brad. I could go Angelina." That's coded language. She's admitting she's attracted to both men and women without actually saying it. At the Season 14 reunion, Kyle said she was evolving when asked about her future with Wade. "I don't know what my future holds right now. I'm evolving. I'm changing. I'm clearly going through some evolution of my own." When Andy Cohen suggested maybe Morgan would be on the couch with them next year, Kyle responded, "You never know. She's hinting. She's dancing around it. But she won't actually say the words. And the reason is obvious. She's terrified of what it means for her image, for her brand, for how her daughters and the world will see her. Let's talk about what this is doing to Kyle's 4 daughters. Farrah, 35, is engaged, but hasn't set a wedding date in 4 years. She's watching her mother's marriage collapse and clearly hesitant about her own future. Alexia, 28, just got married in September, but admitted she wants to wait a year before trying for kids. She's scared. You can see it. Sophia, 25, works at the agency with her dad and has stayed relatively quiet about her parents' separation. And Portia, 17, is about to head to college. She spent her teenage years watching her mother's midlife crisis play out on national television. During season 14, Kyle revealed that for over a year, her kids didn't even know she and Mauricio were separated. They don't know that we are separated, even though he's not living in the house. They were lying to their children, pretending everything was fine while living completely separate lives. At the season 14 reunion, Kyle admitted she had a terrifying conversation with her daughters about questioning herself. She said the media's reaction to her relationship with Morgan made her think like this for the first time in her life. Her daughters just wanted her to be happy regardless of who she dates in the future. But imagine having that conversation with your mother on camera for millions to watch. Kyle keeps saying her daughters are supportive and proud of her. But are they? Or are they just trying to survive their mother's public breakdown with as much grace as possible? Season 15 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills premieres December 4th, 2025. Kyle, snorts, will be front and center. The main storyline will be whether she finally divorces Mauricio or tries to salvage the relationship. But we already know the answer. The marriage is over. It's been over for years. They're just dragging it out for the cameras. The season trailer teased Kyle discussing sex and dating with castmate Bizoma St. John. She'll continue to hint at her sexuality without actually defining it. She'll continue to play the victim while exploiting her family's dysfunction for a paycheck. And her daughters will continue to watch their mother's spiral. Kim is in Florida, not speaking to her sisters, fighting for her sobriety away from cameras. Kyle will likely address it on the show, talking about Kim instead of to her. Mauricio will continue dating openly while Kyle stays stuck in limbo, too scared to file for divorce, too scared to come out, too scared to be honest about anything. And plastic surgery? It'll continue, because Kyle is terrified of aging, terrified of losing relevance, terrified of facing the reality that she's 55 years old and her perfect life was always a facade. Kyle Richards' downfall isn't about her marriage ending. Marriages end every day. It's not about questioning her sexuality. That's brave and valid. Kyle's downfall is about dishonesty, about building a 15-year career on exploitation and pretense, about calling the cops on her addicted sister twice in 1 month while filming her struggles for ratings, about changing her face so dramatically that fans barely recognize her, about refusing to be honest about her relationship with Morgan Wade while parading it on television for storylines. She wants sympathy for her rough year and her evolution, but she won't do the hard work of actually being authentic. Her daughters are watching their mother have a midlife crisis on national television. Kim is in Florida, alone, fighting for her life. Mauricio has moved on completely. And Kyle is stuck, paralyzed by her need for approval and terrified of being honest. She spent 15 years positioning herself as the moral center of Beverly Hills, the loyal friend, the devoted mother, the perfect wife. But that image is gone. And what's left is someone who can't face reality, who changes her face instead of changing her life, and who exploits everyone around her while playing the victim. Her marriage is over. Her face is unrecognizable. Her sister won't speak to her. Her secret relationship is falling apart. And she's still filming it all for Bravo, pretending she has no choice. That's not a downfall. That's a tragedy. And the saddest part? Kyle did this to herself. Do you think Kyle will ever be honest about Morgan Wade? Should she just file for divorce already? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the darkest stories in Beverly Hills, smash that subscribe button. Because trust me, there's so much more to uncover. This was the real story of Kyle Richards' downfall, and it's sadder than anyone realized.